Welcome to another deep dive. Today, we're tearing into a truly compelling stack of sources, culled from what's being called daily vibe casting, a curated snapshot of what's been buzzing on X.
That's right.
We're talking everything from mind-bending tech advancements to seismic market shifts and some surprisingly relatable human insights.
Indeed. These aren't just random posts. They've been specifically selected for their immediate impact and their ability to illuminate larger trends in tech, global affairs, market dynamics.
Right.
Think of it as your exclusive window into the digital zeitgeist, sort of cutting through the noise to find the signal.
Absolutely. Our mission is to pull back the curtain on these trending posts, explore their deeper contexts, and, unearth the most important nuggets of knowledge for you. It's a fast-paced dive into the conversations shaping our world right now, and trust me, we're jumping straight into some truly compelling insights. So let's kick things off at the absolute cutting edge with a post from @Elon Musk that immediately grabbed headlines. Grok now automatically decides how much to think about your question. You can override auto mode and force heavy thinking at will with one tap. That phrase, automatically decides how much to think, really caught my attention. What's the profound implication here?
Well, what's truly groundbreaking is that this auto mode, developed by XAI, enables Grok to dynamically adjust the depth of its reasoning based on, the complexity of your query.
Okay.
It's built on a unified model, which essentially means it can optimize its efficiency without sacrificing the ability to deep dive when needed. This aligns perfectly with XAI's broader mission, which is accelerating human scientific discovery,
Right.
potentially offloading a significant amount of our own cognitive load. I mean, there was a study back in 2023, I think, that found AI assistants could improve problem-solving speed by something like 30% in complex tasks.
Wow.
So this isn't just about speed, it's about a fundamental shift in how we might approach intellectual challenges.
So it's not just getting answers faster. It's Grok intuitively knowing when you need it to think harder. And that override option, the heavy thinking button, that seems crucial. What does that tell us about the philosophy behind this?
It's a fascinating balance, isn't it, between AI autonomy and user control. The heavy thinking override is a direct reflection of a cautious, user-centric approach to AI evolution, especially when you remember Musk's past calls for that 6-month AI development pause due to societal risks. This feature gains even more significance then.
Yeah, good point.
It suggests a move toward more user-controlled AI rather than fully autonomous systems, which, begs the question, as AI tools become increasingly powerful, how much granular control do we truly want or need to retain over their internal processes?
Right.
It's a design philosophy that could really set a precedent.
That question of control over powerful AI tools really frames the future. And speaking of ambitious tech advancements, let's look beyond digital and literally launch into space with an update from SpaceX.
Okay.
Their post announced, watch Falcon 9 launch 28 its Starlink satellites to orbit from Florida. This clearly resonated. It even inspired a reply with just excited emojis.
Yeah, those emoji replies. A study in 2023 actually pointed out that's a rapidly evolving cultural shorthand for conveying intense enthusiasm, signals just how much excitement there is around Starlink.
True.
But the deeper story here is SpaceX's extraordinarily ambitious goal, deploying over 12,000 Starlink satellites by 2027. That's for true global internet coverage. They already have, 6,000 in orbit by mid-2025?
That's a staggering number of satellites, and even more staggering ambition for global connectivity. What are the ripple effects for us on the ground? How does this change the internet access landscape?
Well, the expansion could fundamentally disrupt traditional telecom giants. A paper in 2024 highlighted this shift by delivering, say, 100-plus MEPs in remote and underserved areas where broadband has historically been impossible or just way too expensive.
Yeah, game changer for some places.
Absolutely. Imagine isolated communities suddenly having high-speed internet. However, this raises a critical environmental concern: space debris.
Ah, right. The junk.
Exactly. NASA reported a 20% increase in tracked space objects just since 2020. With thousands more satellites planned, the risk of collisions and this growing problem of space junk creating a kind of orbital minefield, it's increasingly brought to the forefront. It's a classic trade-off: progress and access versus, environmental impact.
From the vastness of space, let's zoom back to a quick but impactful statement that sparked a huge debate about digital trust. Jack Dorsey, posted simply facts, endorsing a critique of KYC or know your customer practices.
Right.
This single word, facts carries a lot of weight coming from someone like Dorsey.
It does. This brief, emphatic comment throws a spotlight on that long-standing tension between security and individual privacy. Dorsey's stance resonates with a 2021 cybersecurity study showing that a staggering 78% of data breaches involve misconfigured databases.
78%? Wow.
Yeah. And the context he's reacting to mentioned a specific example, the T-Apps data breach. It stemmed from a misconfigured cloud storage system, basically an online database, a Firebase bucket leading to 72,000 user images being exposed.
Oh, man.
And the ironic twist was that built-in safety features meant to prevent unauthorized access actually inadvertently allowed IP addresses to be mapped.
So it's not just that these security measures can fail, but sometimes the very act of collecting this personal data can create new vulnerabilities. That kind of flips the conventional wisdom.
Precisely. It challenges the common narrative that KYC always enhances security and privacy. Dorsey's support for this critique reflects his long-standing advocacy for decentralized systems and a privacy-first approach. And this debate is particularly urgent as KYC mandates continue to expand, with new, stricter regulations being pushed by agencies like FinCEN, especially for cryptocurrencies. The core question becomes, are we inadvertently creating these honeypots of personal data by demanding more and more know your customer info? Or are these measures truly necessary? It's a tough balance.
Shifting gears to the economic pulse, Saylor, Michael Saylor, posted a very striking image styled like a Matrix character with the caption, "Exit the Matrix." This isn't just a meme, it feels like a declaration.
Yeah, it's powerful imagery.
What's the Matrix he's referring to, and how does Bitcoin offer an exit?
Well, he's using that powerful cultural metaphor to advocate for Bitcoin as an escape from what he sees as a flawed traditional fiat financial system, our current system of government-backed currency.
Right.
His company, MicroStrategy, has notably put its money where its mouth is. They invested nearly $28 billion in Bitcoin by February 2025, viewing it as the ultimate inflation hedge.
28 billion.
Right. It taps into that popular cultural meme where Bitcoin is the red pill, the choice to wake up to a new financial reality.
So this isn't just about making a smart investment. It's about embracing a completely different financial philosophy, a whole paradigm shift.
Absolutely. There was a study in 2021 by the National Bureau of Economic Research supporting the argument for cryptocurrencies as a crucial portfolio diversifier, especially when fiat currency is unstable.
Right. Fiat meaning government money, not backed by gold, just trust.
Exactly. And that study noted this diversification is gaining significant traction as global trust in these traditional systems shows signs of, well, waning. You see countries increasingly reducing their reliance on dollar assets recently.
Interesting. And the very cyberpunk aesthetic of Saylor's post subtly critiques the centralized banking structures we've taken for granted, suggesting a decentralized future. Now, for a critical financial development that could impact everyone's wallet, a post from @WatcherGuru, JCIN, $11.5 trillion BlackRock CIO Rick Ryder, calls for the Federal Reserve to lower interest rates. BlackRock is a giant, so this isn't just some casual comment.
No, definitely not. Rick Ryder, as BlackRock's chief investment officer, commands significant influence. His call highlights a pressing concern: the profound adverse impact of sustained high interest rates on low-income households, particularly in the housing market.
Okay.
He argues that even with a robust economy, rates could be responsibly lowered to around 3.25%. His reasoning is that this would make housing more affordable and could paradoxically help reduce inflation by increasing housing supply as construction costs come down.
But isn't the Fed typically wary of cutting rates, especially when, like you said, we've seen recent inflation data showing an uptick? What's the disconnect here?
That's the crucial point of contention. Ryder's argument comes despite that recent inflation data, which would normally make the Fed hesitant.
Right.
His perspective sharply contrasts with the Fed's reluctance, which is driven by concerns that recent tariffs could reignite post-pandemic inflation.
The tariff factor.
Exactly. However, Ryder's argument connects to broader market dynamics. High construction costs, the fact that most new housing targets higher-end households. This exacerbates shortages for moderate-income families. It's a supply-side problem.
So he's saying rate cuts could help the supply side, even if the Fed is worried about demand.
Precisely. It forces us to consider whether the Fed's focus on demand-side inflation might be missing a critical supply-side issue here.
And speaking of real estate, this next post from @Unusual Wales is truly astonishing. 2 Denver office towers recently sold for $3.2 million, or $3 per square feet. They were valued at $200 in 2019,
Wow.
a 98% drop in value.
Yeah.
That's almost unheard of for major commercial properties. What on earth is going on in Denver?
Yeah, that number is just stark. This specific sale serves as an incredibly clear illustration of the dramatic decline in commercial real estate values, particularly in urban centers. It's driven by a confluence of factors, primarily a crushing 35% downtown vacancy rate in Denver and the pervasive, seemingly permanent shift to remote work. A 2023 study documented that thoroughly.
35% vacancy.
Right. And to put that $3 a square foot in perspective, that's strikingly lower than even the cost of building a basic backyard shed, which can run anywhere from like $17 to $40 per square foot.
That's insane. It highlights a collapse, not just a correction.
Totally.
So this isn't just a market tip. It screams distressed sale, right?
Yeah.
Suggesting a much deeper systemic issue. Are we seeing this elsewhere?
Absolutely. It's a deeply distressed sale. And yes, this aligns with broader national trends. Commercial mortgage delinquencies already exceeded 10% in 2024. If we connect this to the bigger picture, this kind of devaluation reflects more than just changing work habits. It signals broader trends of, well, potential urban decay in downtown Denver. Some argue certain policy decisions related to safety or homelessness have exacerbated these property value collapses. It forces us to ask, is this the beginning of a larger structural shift in urban landscapes across the country, fundamentally altering city centers as we know them? And what does it mean for city taxes?
Big questions. Let's pivot now to the social compass and a significant poll highlighted by a leading report. Breaking. American voters give Democrats their lowest rating in 35 years per WSJ poll. And then Ed Billickman simply replied with, deserved.
Oof, yeah, blunt.
Pretty blunt.
This WSJ poll, showing a substantial 63% negative view of Democrats, it does reflect a surprising shift in public sentiment. It even marks a rare Republican lead in party identification not seen since, like, 1990.
Oh, okay.
The context suggests a confluence of possible drivers. Widespread voter frustration with economic policies, particularly inflation, along with ongoing debates over immigration and, social policies. Ackman's terse deserved reply kind of encapsulates a certain segment of that public dissatisfaction.
What does this level of disapproval hitting a 35-year low tell us about the current political climate in America, especially with elections looming?
Well, this 35-year low coincides with, and is likely intensified by, the pervasive social media polarization that characterizes our current political discourse.
Right.
Furthermore, the context points to a broader, deeper public distrust in established institutions. A recent Hell article highlighted a significant lack of public confidence in the Justice Department's handling of the Epstein investigation, for example.
That erodes trust overall.
Exactly. It erodes faith in the system as a whole. This situation compels us to consider how deeply political shifts are now influenced by public perception of accountability, economic anxieties, and the rapidly evolving stances of political parties, all amplified by this fractured media landscape we live in.
On a markedly different note, @Lavelcio posted a powerful personal warning. I love China, but this simply isn't true. You're at risk as a white American, or even European foreigner, to be plucked off the street and end up being used in China's prisoner swaps.
Yeah, that's a stark claim.
Especially from someone who says they love the country.
It underscores a very real and frankly concerning risk for Western foreigners living or traveling in China. It's an issue supported by official reports, actually. There was a 2024 BBC report on the U.S.-China prisoner swap that detailed individuals being held for what are often seen as arbitrary legal reasons. It highlights persistent concerns about archaic judicial processes and arbitrary legal enforcement against foreigners. While China has made efforts at legal reforms, a 2021 study noted ongoing inconsistencies, particularly affecting foreigners who can get caught in the system with very little transparency or recourse.
That paints such a stark contrast to the image of modern, tech-advanced China many people have. How does that modern facade coexist with these underlying legal vulnerabilities?
There's a critical dichotomy, isn't it? Cities like Shanghai, with their amazing infrastructure, world's largest high-speed rail network, bustling economy, they offer a highly modern, attractive lifestyle.
Right.
But that can, unfortunately, mask these underlying legal vulnerabilities for expats. The sheer economic opportunity can sometimes overshadow the potential for arbitrary detention. It raises a crucial question for anyone considering living or working abroad. What is the true balance between economic opportunity and personal security when a legal system operates with limited transparency? How much risk are individuals willing to assume?
It's a sobering thought. Now, this next one from @WallStreetApes is truly eye-opening, maybe even a bit unsettling.
Okay.
It details how a man, experienced in raising cattle, discovered his steak was fake, glued together with enzymes. That feels like a profound betrayal of trust.
Wow. Yeah, this post shines a very direct light on a concerning, albeit technically legal, practice in the food industry. What's truly fascinating and troubling is the widespread use of enzymes like transglutaminase, often called meat glue.
Meat glue. Sounds appetizing.
Doesn't it? Restaurants and suppliers use it to bind together smaller meat scraps, offcuts, even different types of meat, making them look like higher quality whole cuts, like a prime steak.
So it's deceptive.
Highly deceptive. But beyond paying a premium for scraps, there's a significant health implication. Because it creates this patchwork, it has a much larger internal surface area for bacterial contamination, similar to ground beef.
So it's not just about what you're paying for versus getting, but potentially a serious health hazard. Like, should you cook these things well done?
Exactly. While the enzyme itself is generally deemed safe, the lack of transparency is a huge issue. The real health risk arises when these glued cuts are eaten rare or medium rare.
Right, because the inside isn't sterile, like a whole muscle cut.
Precisely. The internal bacteria, now present throughout the glued seams, might not reach safe cooking temperatures. It's very different from a whole cut where bacteria are mostly on the surface. This practice forces us to ask, what are the real food safety standards we should demand? And what's the consumer's fundamental right to know what's been done to their food? It's a huge transparency issue.
Definitely something to think about next time you order a steak. Okay, here's a thought-provoking post from @Gulp Original Gag with an image claiming that raising daughters doubles maternal cortisol levels compared to sons.
Ah, yes. That one caused a stir.
A bold claim about parenting stress.
It references interpretations of a UC Berkeley study, which, while complex, did suggest that deeper emotional dynamics often associated with raising daughters might contribute to increased maternal stress levels indicated by cortisol. But it's crucial to understand the study emphasized this points to the complexity of those relationships, not necessarily difficulty or negativity. It also aligns with a broader trend, actually. A 2025 New York Times article noted a general mental health decline in mothers across the board since 2016.
Okay, so is it really twice as stressful, or is that maybe an oversimplification? What's the nuance here?
It's definitely more nuanced than that headline suggests. While the post is thought-provoking, we need to caution against overgeneralizing that claim to all mothers of daughters. No single study confirms such a precise doubling across all contexts.
Right.
Research consistently shows various factors like parental education, support systems, parenting behaviors can significantly buffer stress responses in parents and kids, regardless of gender. The deeper insight is less about a number and more about the distinct emotional landscapes and different family dynamics.
Makes sense. It's about complexity, not just difficulty. And for a lighter moment that still touches on significant market influence, @ZBDoge asked, if you could give one message to Elon Musk right now, what would it be? The post itself suggests, buy more Dogecoin.
Classic.
Captures the sentiment of a very passionate community, doesn't it?
It absolutely reflects the incredibly strong community push for Dogecoin. Its value has been so heavily influenced by Musk's past tweets. Back in 2021, his engagement famously spiked Dogecoin's value by, an astonishing 12,000%.
12,000%. Yeah, he certainly had an outsized impact historically.
Undeniably.
But what does this kind of meme-driven asset say about the broader crypto market? And maybe the longevity of these things when influential figures shift their focus?
Well, this is where it gets interesting, right? While Musk's past influence is undeniable, his current priorities seem to have visibly shifted. His focus is increasingly on grander projects. Governmental efficiency, advancing AI, space exploration.
Right, less time for crypto memes, perhaps.
Perhaps. And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this pivot could significantly dilute his direct influence on crypto, specifically Dogecoin. It raises an important question about the long-term viability of meme-driven assets that rely so heavily on one figure's enthusiasm. What happens when the primary cheerleader moved on? Does the community's passion alone sustain it? It's a real test.
Finally, let's wrap up with a post from @GarbageHuman24. Pretty sure he's actually the victim in this situation, referring to a comedic scene from the movie Trainwreck with Amy Schumer and John Cena.
Ah, yes, I remember that scene.
It definitely stuck with people.
It did. This post harks back to that memorable comedic sex scene where Amy Schumer's character interacts with John Cena. Schumer herself later humorously expressed regret over not having actually touched Cena's physique during filming.
Right. That comment got some reactions.
It did, ranging from amusement to relatable introspection. The scene itself aimed to cleverly challenge conventional romantic comedy norms, with Schumer's character embodying this non-traditional, often awkward view on commitment and relationships.
It's a comedic take on a human impulse. What does this seemingly lighthearted reflection tell us about the broader psychology of regret, maybe in our own lives?
Well, while there aren't, peer-reviewed studies on Amy Schumer's specific regret laughs slightly, her comment does tap into a well-documented area of psychological research: the nature of regret itself.
Okay.
Studies consistently indicate that people often experience deeper, more persistent regret over inaction, things they didn't do, opportunities missed, rather than actions they did take.
Ah, the regret of inaction.
Exactly. So Schumer's humorous reflection, whether entirely genuine or just a comedic way to handle an awkward filming moment, offers a surprisingly relatable insight into our own small, lingering regrets. It makes you ponder those moments you hesitated.
Yeah, definitely relatable.
So what we've seen today, really, from the bleeding edge of AI's thought processes to the raw honesty of personal finance, the complex dynamics of urban decay, and the surprisingly relatable intricacies of human emotion, it shows how deeply interconnected our digital conversations are with the real-world forces shaping our lives.
It's truly a testament to how quickly information moves and transforms. In this deep dive, we've managed to peek into so many different domains at once. We've unpacked everything from how an AI decides to think, to why your steak might not be what it seems, and what a shocking real estate sale might signal for our cities.
And the sources we pulled from today, that daily vibe-casting curation on X, it powerfully underscores the idea that while these platforms give us a rapid-fire stream of info and trends, taking that moment to truly understand the underlying context and the broader implications, that's where the real lasting value lies.
So what does this all mean for you as you navigate your own feeds and engage with what's trending? Maybe consider this. How often do you pause to question the deeper forces at play? The economic shifts, the psychological undercurrents, the societal impacts hiding just beneath the surface of the headlines and viral posts.
That deeper dive is often where the insights are.
Exactly. Thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope this has given you a shortcut to being well-informed and perhaps sparked a few significant aha moments. Until next time.